Hey guys! Good morning. It's been exactly 1 month of me living here in San Francisco. So I thought I would take you along on a day of my life, especially on a weekend because this is the only free time I have to study and get my stuff together. So follow along. This is the fit. So I got these glasses pretty recently, but if you notice, there's a very noticeable tint and it like tints everything I look at like yellow. So I'm gonna see if I can get the lens replaced. I thought I would mention why the tint matters. I felt like some of you might find it interesting, but basically, a lot of times in dentistry, you do something called shade matching, which is you look at the patient's existing tooth color and you match whatever restoration you do to that color. And what I've noticed is if I wear tinted glasses, like blue light glasses, while I'm doing that, my shade matching isn't that perfect. So I just want to avoid that, which is why I'm trying to change the lens to one that's just clear without the blue light. But just a little fun fact in case you were curious. Also, you might notice I'm in a completely different car. My second week of residency, I hit a freaking pole, and I hit it really freaking well that it's taking 2 weeks to repair. So for the loaner car, they gave me this very analog Highlander. I'll show you what it looks like from the outside. But it's such a huge car and there's like no backup camera, and I'm like so reliant on that. It's kind of difficult to drive, but lesson learned. And if you saw my vlog from like a year ago, I hit a curve that time. This time I hit a pole, so at least that's like an improvement. No, that's worse because it's easier to see a pole than a curve. See how big it is? It's like really hard to park in. They look better. But we're gonna eat chicken soup. Finally sitting down, but I just wanted to debrief. It's been 1 month of me in residency and I wanted to tell you how it's been. It's been hard. You probably noticed I haven't posted as much and I haven't been as active on social media. And you know, it's because I didn't realize how much volume and work there is in residency. And I want to focus on that and honor the fact at the end of the day, I want to be a really good dentist, a really good prosthodontist, and not a content creator per se. And so I'm giving my all to that. And the hardest part isn't necessarily the workload. I feel like you could throw anything at me and I'll stick through it and I'll do it. And the hardest part is just my mind, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm constantly feeling inadequate. And you know, I'm the only first year here. They only pick one resident per year, and I constantly am worried about disappointing my attendings, disappointing the people that advocated for me to be in this program. And I just constantly just don't feel like I'm good enough. And so I try to prepare and I try to study, and then every day I go in and I realize there's something else I didn't know or something else I didn't understand. And so it's a constant cycle of just feeling really ignorant. And I think it's just me stressing myself out. And I think that's my biggest problem. I tend to be really self-critical, but I think being self-critical is the best thing you can be because it helps you realize where you lack. But it's been stressful and I don't know a lot, but the one thing I can control is my effort. So I'm gonna work really hard and we're gonna start studying now so that hopefully I could be less ignorant next week. So study with me. You might think that graduating from dental school means studying stops. It doesn't. As a prosthodontic resident, a lot of the times we have to read 100+ pages of classic and current literature. And just reading it isn't enough. We have to understand it. Why? We get cold called. Between seeing patients, doing lab work, taking classes and lecture, and having a lot of readings to do per week, it's very easy to fall behind with how much information is thrown at me. And that's why I've been using Superhuman Go. Superhuman Go, from the makers of Grammarly, is the academic sidekick that helps you understand concepts, plan and improve your writing, and start the school year with confidence while keeping your work your own across all browsers. Let me show you how I use it. I turn on Superhuman Go within my Grammarly browser extension and open it from the icon on the side of my screen. As I'm reading a paper, I use it to help explain difficult concepts or clarify study methods, and then I write my own notes in Google Docs. Before I start writing, I turn on Track Writing Activity. As I summarize the paper in my own words, authorship documents how my notes are created from what I type to the edits I make throughout the process. When I'm done, I could generate an authorship report that shows my writing process over time. And I like that it creates a transparent record of how I develop my notes rather than just showing a finished document. Reading hundreds of pages per month can be overwhelming, but understanding complex concepts, organizing my notes, and documenting my writing process helps me stay on top of residency while keeping my work my own. Try Superhuman from the makers of Grammarly and get 20% off Grammarly Pro using my link. Thank you, Grammarly, for sponsoring this video. Hey guys! Now, after studying, I'm gonna do something that you all would expect. I'm gonna get surgery. Ew! With the sound, it sounds like I'm like dying. I realized I didn't say what happened, but basically 3 to 4 weeks ago, I got a haircut basically, and there was a language barrier where he didn't really understand me and I didn't understand him. So there was definitely stuff lost in translation. But anyways, when he was cutting my hair, he kept snagging really hard on my earrings. And I had gotten them done pretty recently, like it was less than 6 months for sure. And it kept snagging. It would hurt a lot, and I would tell him it would hurt, but I think again there was just like a language barrier or something that it just kept happening. And then the next day when I woke up, there was a lot of swelling and I could tell it was like filled with blood. So I did what any sane person would do. I tried to fix it at home. So I got some insulin syringes and I would aspirate them myself, but as soon as I would aspirate it, it would fill up again. And before I knew it, as the weeks passed, I just noticed they were getting bigger and bigger, and they were getting more tender and more sensitive. Like every time I turned my head, it would hurt. And if I opened my mouth wide, it would hurt as well. And at some point I just got sick of it, and it just made me really insecure, and it made it really uncomfortable to sleep or do anything because it was so tender. Like even hugging people would hurt because it would like press against my ear. And I was so sick of it. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get it fixed. So I spontaneously decided to do that yesterday. They were gonna aspirate it, but again, as they were aspirating it, it would fill up again. And I'm really glad I spontaneously decided to go in that day, because when they aspirated, there was blood and there was also pus. So there was like an infection going on. So thank goodness I have 2 ears and I can still be a good listener. They ended up having to numb my ears, and they cut them open. They drained the blood and the pus or whatever, and they had to leave it open so it can continue to drain. And they had to do something called a pressure bandage, which is basically you put a lot of pressure and you bandage. So obviously if you have 2 ears and you have to bandage it, you basically wrap the head a lot. And it was really painful, but that was the only way to go about it, unless they sutured, and I don't want to get sutured. I'm sorry, it looked a little painful. It is pretty sensitive, especially when I talk. It just feels tender. Anyways, back to the video. Thank you for listening to my very long explanation. When I got home, I was planning on studying after my situation, but I could barely see, let alone think, because of how tight this is. So you go study while I lay down, okay? Good morning, it's the next day. We're gonna go to the hospital and see what's going on with this. But this is compressing my face so hard, I literally can't see. I also had to park a gajillion miles away because, again, in San Francisco, there's no freaking parking. So I look like such an idiot. I'm just gonna smile and look happy. No, that might make me look crazy. I'm just gonna Got back home, I feel like I could think now, but basically they changed the dressing on my ears. And then They told me to wear something to put pressure on it, and they recommended a headband, so we're wearing one. And I'm really hungry. Yesterday, chicken soup is basically all I ate. I ordered food after the drainage, but it hurt a lot to eat. But today I feel a lot better, so hopefully I could eat something. So we're gonna meal prep. And I usually do not meal prep. If you know my lifestyle, I don't cook ever. But ever since I've come to San Francisco, I've had the realization I need to take better care of myself. So we're gonna try to meal prep or whatever. ASMR. Okay. Ooh. Just ate, and I feel like I deserve a coffee just for just co- I look so freaking bad. But studying stops for no one. Study with me. I'm gonna sleep now because tomorrow's a new week. Also, a lot of you have been asking for study with me. They will start soon. Psych! But otherwise, good night or good morning wherever you are, and have a good rest of your day, and see you soon.